Greetings, everyone. I am Dimitrik, and thank you for joining me in this calm morning in the city. Today, we are sitting inside this new cafe which opened recently. It is small, yet charming, and the perfect place to grab a morning tea on a tranquil day like this. It is a great local place for leisure in the middle of the old town's quaint streets. Sipping away, I was pondering at why we don't have more small shops like this. Well, if you have been around for more than one episode, you would know that very seldom furnish my builds, and too often do most of the insides of my buildings lie barren. So today, we will be addressing that by doing some street-level interiors to make the city feel more like a city. It may be a shorter episode, but nonetheless, it will be an important one. So for my plans with this episode, the bulk of the work will be done in Edwardsford, being this central neighborhood in the old town of Ericton. It is the first neighborhood to begin construction, with a majority of the old building stock existing here. For example, this building right here and this building right here were both built in 2022, yet their insides remain in the same state as they were when they were first built. In fact, this building right here, the oldest one in the city, built all the way back in early March of 2022, only had its interior done a couple weeks ago, on the anniversary of it being built. It currently functions as a little convenience house with some utilities, with its proximity near the world spawn right here, so anyone respawning can come into here, as it is a nice short walk away. But that goes to show how lacking the old town is, despite its importance and how long it has been like this. So we must get to building to make the streets more pleasant for those like me who call the city home. And after a brief period of citywide renovation, we are greeted with a city where the streetscape is a little bit more complete, and we can finally look into shop fronts and see that it is not just an empty shell. In the future, we might take this for granted, but that would not be possible without the work done today, and there are a couple buildings which I would like to showcase the interior of personally. The first one being this building right here, being the Guildhall of Edwardsford. So, walking into the Great Hall, this building is the historic site of where the merchant guilds in Ericton would meet. This room, we have this nice magenta on the wall, and we have some nice lovely woodwork at the top. And going up the stairs, we arrive at the meeting room, where various members of the guilds may come in here and discuss amongst each other, where they may collect taxes, or set pricing standards, or collude, and plan out monopolies and other ways where they can maximize their profits. Have this other room over here with some nice wood, and it still does not seem very safe at all. Better turn that off before we leave. Get a nice view of the train station out there. Again, I do not want this building to go up in flames after years of sitting vacant. I do not need it sitting vacant even more. We do have these very nice rafters, some nice details using some trapdoors and the new shelf block, and have a nice green ceiling right there, looking very lovely. We do have this tower from which we're able to view from the outside, showing everyone on the street where the guild hall is. And moving on to our next building. As you can see, this building over here has been completed after a while, but moving on, going into Ream Street, we have this building right here, another Gothic one. And coming inside, we have this nice tile work with some black and white stones, creating some nice patterns. Upstairs, we have this red room with a nice gold trim at the top with these massive wide windows. Perhaps this was once used as an office in centuries prior, where an intellectual may have used this as his atelier in bygone days. Again, this is not safe. Do not need another Great Fire of Ericton. But I do love this building as it sits in the alleyway known as the Grind, where it sits along some other very well-preserved buildings from that era. But now to move on to the next building. Going over the bridge where we have these two twin domes on the other side, an iconic view for the city. This building wasn't on my original plan for buildings I wanted to show off as the interior was done over a year ago, but this is the Chinese restaurant owned by this villager right here going by the name of Mr. Peng, and it is a very nice spot, very iconic place in the city of Ericton where you can grab a nice succulent Chinese meal, if you know what I mean. It is a very popular spot among the members of the server, except for one member in particular, but everyone else seems to love it. But next on our tour, which also happens to be neighbors with the Chinese restaurant, is this pub right here, where after a long, grueling day of drudgery at Parliament, I can finally come in here, have some relaxing time to myself, and have a nice pint with the lads, where I have this nice little area with some seating where I used a chain with a carpet on top of it. We also have some ample seating for all the patrons coming in here to patronize their local pub in the city. We have some barrels which hold ample storage for beverages, and this one also has a layer underneath where we have the cellar where we do have some extra kegs underneath to hold some more liquids. We also seem to have some facilities which are somewhat well maintained. Moving on to the next one, which, oh god, oh my, we must leave this place at once. And after such a revolting experience, I think it is time for us to immediately move on to the next portion of the episode. So coming up over here, we have the lovely Glessing Bridge connecting Edwardsford to the island of Glessing. Whilst it is a very lovely bridge, I would like to make one slight alteration to it, that being that the current bridge is far too narrow. It is only around 5 blocks wide, and by the time you get off the bridge, you aren't even aligned with the gate very much. So I would like to extend this bridge maybe around 4 to 5 blocks this way, so we do have a nice wider area for people to walk across, so it's not as crowded and you are able to have a better ease of access into the gate. Architecturally, not much will change, but for the pedestrians, there will be visible improvement, and if one wishes to traverse between Edwardsford and Glessing coming out this gate, they have enough space to do so without bumping into each other. If we take a look, you can see that the bridge looks almost the same as it was before, just a little bit wider. The only noticeable difference design-wise is that the two towers on the sides of the bridge, I did add a little dome and a little spike sticking up to make it look a little bit more interesting, as it was a little bit plain before. But overall, this is a very nice widening project and some vital infrastructure for the city. And now, for one last project before we end this episode, you would know that we built this warehouse district a couple episodes back, where we built this nice large wharf over here with these two warehouses for us to store all of the server's items. Well, you see on this side we have a nice staircase to take us down from up there to down here. But the same cannot be said for the other side, which is usually the main side where I approach the warehouses from. Over here, there is no easy way up. You could either go down to this way and climb up that way, or you could do a little bit of maneuvering to get yourself into this area where there is a very narrow ledge and isn't the nicest looking area. So what I would like to do is to build a small wall right here with a little staircase coming down to finally be able to connect the area in front of the train station to the warehouses, so have some easier access to get our items to build. And aside from the better connectivity, we can also expand this green park area down over here so we have a little bit more green space for the citizens and tourists to enjoy in their leisure time, getting a nice view of the city. So with one final project in this episode, let us get straight to building. And with this new stairway built, we now have much better ease of access from the port up to South Pensworth Square up here, where if I was doing any construction work within the city in this section, I could go over here and down this stairway down here to the store system and have a much easier way of doing so. For the wall itself, I used a combination of stone and stone bricks textured together and have these buttresses here so it looks a little bit nicer. But other than that, it is a very simple stairway, and for the steps I just used some polished deep slate, as it looks a little bit like a cast iron. And we have done some amazing work today, vastly improving the city, especially in this area out here with the bridge and our new way of access. We also have an expanded park over here where there was previously water and I have filled it in with some earth. So we have a nice little green space near the old town where you can enjoy the centuries old fortifications here. It's a nice spot to enjoy the city's history. Perhaps one day I can even build a couple trees over here. Unfortunately, it is time to end the episode, but we have gotten some amazing progress done. We have furnished several buildings ready for businesses to move in, helping the city grow and prosper. We have also done some infrastructure projects, easing transportation and making the city more accessible. I thank you for watching if you have made it this far, and be sure to leave a like if you have enjoyed it, and leave a comment if you have any ideas or would like to say anything in particular. But I thank you for watching, and as always, I hope to remain among your most faithful and obedient of servants.